to the disaster site from other ships, the nightmare lasted about 20 minutes. When the saucers again dived under the water, we evaluated our losses. They were terrifying. Who did these flying saucers belong to? Could it have been Nazi Germany? After the war, in Nazi secret archives, intriguing photos and drawings were discovered. They proved that German scientists were actually engaged. At the time, nothing like this existed. Nerbi, when translated, means legacy of the ancestors. However, the Society's scope of interest was broader than ancient German history study. Nazi ideology was based on the theory that in the past there was a powerful Earth civilization with access to the secrets of the universe. Somewhere encrypted and scattered, this higher knowledge was preserved. Specifically, they were tasked with reviving the superhuman in Germany. It was tested for the first and last time on February the 14th, 1945, near Prague. The lift power was created by the silent flameless engine of Victor Schauberger. The lift power was created by the silent, again. Reports say the unpiloted disc reached a height of 15 kilometres, that's 15,000 metres, in 3 minutes. With a horizontal speed of 2,200 kilometres per hour. The developer of its main engine, Victor Schauberger, later recalled, the model tested in February 1945 was built in collaboration with world-class combustion engineer experts. It was Keitel who had the disc prototype blown up, depicting flying discs above an Antarctic base are an artist's fantasy. They were made to test parts of the disc prototype within certain parameters, or were part of presentations to the authorities for funding purposes. It's vital to credit the German scientists and engineers who achieved huge successes. The Third Reich's leap in science and technology wasn't accidental. Flying out of Antarctic waters in 1947. Regarding the sources that emerged from the water witnessed in the 1940s, and nowadays the recorded sightings of flights, of unidentified flying objects emerging from seas, oceans, lakes, etc. I am sure that in 1947 the Germans could not have had such technology, and neither could any country. But if the Germans did not attack the American expedition in 1947, who did? Emerging out of the water, shining saucers, spheres, cigar-like objects, with an analysis of ancient knowledge, brought incredible results. However, the defeat the Nazis suffered was not accidental. In the polar and surrounding areas are not unusual facts. Everywhere, unidentified flying objects are observed. Viktor Berezhnev, first-rank captain, veteran of Soviet Navy intelligence, as a commander in Soviet Navy intelligence. These unidentified flying objects don't only exist in the form of a glowing ball of some vague nature, but rather have a definite technological body. One particular case I am familiar with was where, over the islands of South Georgia, very strange flying objects were observed. Emerging from beneath the waters, fishermen saw an object, as it is shown here on these pictures. Despite the strong wind, the object remained static for a long time. Clearly, it wasn't a cloud. At night, this triangle not only shone, but lights were at the I go back to that. But lights, and then at the end of 1942, a lightly armed flying disc took to the air. It's alleged that before the war's end, 17 types of flying discs were made. The Germans wanted to use them as spying devices. The generals who took part in the Battle of Kursk and 2 Soviet Union heroes I knew personally, a pilot and a tank commando, described to me what they saw, a disc hung in the sky during the Kursk battle. What was it? They did not know. Neither the Russians nor Germans recognized it. The saucer wasn't made by us, I assure you. Among these disc drawings and photos is a saucer identified as the Nibiru. Anna might be able to pronounce that for me. Data on the discs reads like science fiction. According to descriptions, they used an alternative source of energy, the so-called converter of Hans Kohler, which required no fossil fuel. It was even planned to take the Nibiru 3 disc type into space. Hard to believe, who knows? German photo seized by the Russians, 71 metres wide, is now hidden in Antarctica. Here's a trophy photo. If not in space, then at least the stratosphere. In the seized archives, another mysterious document was discovered. It was a blueprint for a huge 139-metre-long cigar-shaped ship called Andromeda, with hangars for 5 of the flying discs of the Nibiru 2 and Vril type, for the secret bases of the Third Reich, including the Antarctic. According to American intelligence, by the war's end, the Germans had 9 research enterprises developing and testing flying discs. Were successfully evacuated from Germany. The 9th was destroyed. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Wendell Stevens recalls, were transported to Antarctica to the new place called New Swabia. At least 1 disc research company was transported to that location. The discs encountered in Antarctica in 1947 were probably not the same discs. Perhaps they were German discs flying on classical principles. Perhaps they were German discs flying on classical principles. This disc flew through the ship's rigging at such a speed it bent the radio antenna from its wash. Ones that had already been developed by the Third Reich. A few such prototypes had already been made. Some proved themselves well. And Germany's opponents weren't even close. It is undeniable Germany was accepted into the tunnels under the ice in Antarctica. The USA, when they had discovered the secret designs of the disc, immediately sent a task force of 5,000 men and equipment to Antarctica, only to be met by the Angels, who destroyed them at lightning speed. The demonic West had destroyed Germany by dropping more bombs on Berlin than Germany dropped on England during the whole war. In a very short while, these secrets will be revitalized and Germany will be elevated from the depths of hell once again, as Hitler was able to achieve. He rose to power after he was imprisoned for 5 years for treason against the Zionist regime, where he wrote Mein Kampf. Excuse the spelling on that. Mein Kampf, you all know how to spell it, and sold millions of copies detailing his life, experiences and deep compassion for humanity as a whole. He used the funds to finance his political party. Germany has been completely demonized by the Zionists, which I might add, declared war on Germany weeks after Hitler was elected Chancellor on January 30th, 1933. Germans, not Germans, are extremely intelligent. They were seeking ancient knowledge, sending expeditions worldwide. In Antarctica, they were allowed by the angels to establish bases in the vast tunnels of ice. On the other hand, when the USA sent an armada under Admiral Byrd intending to last 6 months, the angels responded with staggering speed and ferocity, destroying much of the fleet in 20 minutes. The question is, why was Germany finally overcome by the devil, the Allies, Christ? The time was too soon, as the demonic world had to run its preordained collision with one man, Yahweh, the Holy Ghost of Jesus. It is today the final hour upon the world, with angels about to reinforce the watcher angels that has been with us for thousands of years. Twice the word watchers are mentioned, confirming they come from a far country. Jeremiah 4:16, quoting, "Make ye mention to the nations, behold, publish against Jerusalem, that watchers come from a far country and give out their voice against the cities of Judah." The word watchers is 5341. Observe, preserve, subtle, watcher, man. Far, 4801, remoteness, that is, a distant place, often from afar, a dwell in, very far country. Far off, also see 1023. Next, Daniel is interpreting a dream of holy angels, explaining it to Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel 4:17, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. Holy One, 6922. Corresponding to 6918, Holy One, Saint. 6918 from 6942, Sacred, God by eminence, and Angel, a Holy One. Nebuchadnezzar then laid siege to Jerusalem and captured Zedekiah. His daughters were taken to Tara Island and married into the remnant of the original tribe of Judah, where the royal line continued down to King William I, the Lion King of Scotland, the Christ's ancestor. Daniel 4:3, I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and an holy one came down from heaven. There's the word watcher again, Hebrew 5894, watcher, an angel, as guardian, watcher. Daniel 4:23, and whereas the king saw a watcher and a holy one coming down from heaven and saying, hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even when a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. A far country means from heaven, as seen with the watchers coming from a far country. This leads as to why Germany was able to delay the Jews until April the 6th, 1943, and January the 11th, 1944, to enable Jesus to come again. I'm going to come back, stop here, and I'll come back continuing.